Alright, so now I want to talk about how we can refine a mesh. So if you remember, we talked how a surface can acquire certain shadows that might be appearing on our renderings. So let's take a look at that again. Let's create a plane for this example. And let's make this plane around 500 by 500, so 5 meters by 5 meters in length. Hit the G key to disappear our grid. And now what I want to do is just to create certain sections or certain edges on this plane. Let's go to our clay and hit F4. Now let's leave this plane with just one length segments and width 2. Now what I want to do is just to create this to Edit Poly, so convert to Edit Poly. And now I'm going to select these two diagonal vertices, and if I go to my Edit Vertices, I can connect them to create an extra edge here. So let's connect these. And what if I wanted to just pick these diagonals too and connect them? It's not going to happen, because this edge is in the way. So one way to go around that is to go into our edit geometry and head to our cut tool. So if I start here and then I want to connect it over here, I'll create this extra vertex in the middle. Right click once and then right click again to deselect the cut option. Now if I grab this center vertex with my 1 key, and let's actually go to F3 and vertex mode, let's pick this one and just drag it up like so. Now I'm going to go back to my clay, and if I go down here you can see that shadow there, and this means that our mesh is not a very high quality mesh. So we have to refine it. One way of refining it is by just adding a chamfer and then a turbo smooth to create more polygons. So let's do that. And actually let's not use the modifier, but instead let's do it manually. So let's check the number 2, select all of the edges, right click and chamfer. Now let's add a 1 centimeter chamfer, 1.5, so 1.5, and let's hit the OK button. Now let's add a turbo smooth, and the reason that I added this chamfers is because if I didn't add these additional loop supports, my turbo smooth will destroy our geometry. So let's go to our turbo smooth, and there we go. Now notice if I press F4 that my mesh still has the same geometry, but that annoying shadow is gone. So this is the way we can refine some meshes too. Now let's add some extra detail to this geometry. So let's select it and let's give it a thickness by applying a shell modifier. Now let's type in 5 for the thickness, and also let's make sure that straighten corners is on down here. Otherwise it's going to create some problems if the corners are not really straight. So it might give us some unwanted shadows too. So straighten corners when we're selecting the shell modifier in this case. Now I'm going to, on top of this, call in an Edit Poly modifier so that I can have all of the additional elements here. And I'm going to go for number 4 for polygon. And what I want to do now is just to pick these 4 faces like so and extrude them downwards. So right click, extrude, and let's just extrude them by -3 for the moment. And let's check this. Alright, now if I go back to my Edit Poly and apply a turbo smooth to it, notice that my extrusions cannot be visible because I still have to refine my mesh. So let's go back inside our Edit Poly and let's just hide this turbo smooth for now. So we have to add some extra support loops to all of these voids that we've created. And also let's just add a couple of more details up here. So let's just select these 4 faces, right click and inset, just to make an inset of this face like so, just to add a little bit more detail to it. Let's put in 3.5 centimeters for the moment and check. I want to also extrude these downwards, but not so much, -2, and then create an extra inset like so. And now I'm going to extrude these guys upwards, something like this. Let's check this and let's go back to our turbo smooth and notice that it looks kind of funny. So let's go and hide again the turbo smooth modifier and add some extra loops. So for this, if I just select my Edit Poly and press the X key with my Swift loop, I'll be able to add some extra edges here to support all of my changes. So I'm going to add one here because remember that Turbo Smooth acts on the edges, so we have to give them some extra support there. So let's go down here too. Also, don't forget that we need both supports here at the bottom and also at the top. So let's add these extra supports at the top, bottom and top of the edges. Don't forget about that. Again, so we need all of these to be acting on all of my new extrusions or voids here. So wherever we were missing one, we have to add one, like this. So let's check this one over here, and okay, now we're done. However, we haven't checked the ones here at the top, so notice that they don't have any supports, these edges. So I'm going to add one here, another one over here, one at the bottom, and one at the top, like so. So this goes for all of the voids that I've created. So be careful not to miss any. Okay, we are missing here 2. And also in the top squares, we have to add this extra loops all over the place, just on the edges, just to make sure that the Turbo Smooth won't mess up our geometry. Okay, so this can be a little bit time consuming, but the results are great, so it's worth it. Sometimes this is not applied so much to architecture, because within the field of architectural visualization, sometimes our geometries or our meshes are not that complex. We work with low poly meshes. This is actually something more that you would see within gaming. So I'm just checking that all of them have the loops. Or whenever you're making some kind of alien artifact, which is also really fun to model, and it's actually a really good practice for you. So once you go into the architectural visualization field, this probably won't be a problem for you, any type of modeling. Okay, now once we are done, let's go back to our Turbo Smooth and turn this on. Okay, now you can see that my creation is way more smooth. However, I think we've missed some here, so let's go back to our Edit Poly and just deselect our Turbo Smooth and F4. So yes, we've missed here a support loop. Let's hit that Edit Poly X and Swift Loop. So again, let's make sure that we're not missing any. And yes, we've missed one here at the very top of the bottom edge for some reason. And this one over here too. Oops, I lost that one. There we go. We should be good to go now. No, actually we've missed it. Also the top one, so again, make sure that you're not missing any. Okay, let's go back to our Turbo Smooth, and there we go, much better. So these additional artifacts are way more visible now, and we can play with the iterations for Turbo Smooth, so we can add an extra one just to make this mesh more clean. Again, you have to be careful by pressing the 7 key with your polys and vertices. Okay, so we can go back to our Edit Poly and we can just keep on adding some extra artifacts here. I want to leave this for the next lecture, as I would like to speak to you about the Boolean functions. So see you there.